Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Let's go ahead and jump straight into today's topic. It's great to be back. We are adjusting beautifully with our new baby boy, Asher. Aspen and Asher are really starting to get along. Aspen's really taking a liking to him. So that is bringing a lot of peace to our family right now. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. Whether you're into collecting modern or vintage Pokemon cards, it's no mystery right now that the market is booming, right? And today I kind of wanted to talk about some things that are interesting to me, but also, mistakes that I've made, regrets that I have. And I've talked about this before, and it may seem hypocritical, and that's okay. I want to be honest, and I want to be transparent here. You guys know that I have a lot of sealed product. I also have a lot of rare, valuable singles. I also have a lot of binders. I also have a lot of graded cards. So why does this matter? What I've learned in the past 4.5 years collecting, is that buying singles really does feel like it's the way to go. Okay? When it comes to sealed product, the only sealed product that I feel has been the best for me to buy, one has been theme decks, mainly because I love theme decks, so I enjoy buying that kind of sealed vintage product. I would say sealed vintage booster boxes because that's also something that I would love to own someday, and maybe someday I will have the kind of income, the kind of wealth where I can own and maybe open a couple vintage Pokemon booster boxes. But I'm really referring to modern sealed product. So it takes up a lot of space. It might not move at the same pace price-wise as some of the most valuable singles from these specific booster boxes. So if we're going to talk about Surging Sparks, for example, just because it's the hottest topic, Prismatic Evolutions will be out, and then that'll be the hottest thing. But right now, it is Surging Sparks. With pull rates being so terrible in this set right now, I don't really think it's worth it to even open it, even though I am also going to open it. I mentioned it yesterday, and I'll mention it again. We do have some Surging Sparks bundles, so we'll get to that when we get to it. This upcoming Wednesday's live, or this next week's Wednesday's live at 10-11 p.m. I'm excited for that, but I don't think I'm going to get anything out of opening those. So that'll just be for fun, entertainment, and catching up with all of you guys. But for the most part, I would go ahead and buy all of the SIRs and alt arts that you want. And I'm not saying that right now is the time to do that. I would wait and watch this market because stuff is just going crazy. And maybe the market is set in its ways. This is the new norm. These are the new trends. And these numbers are just going to keep going up. Guys, everything is up. Everything in this hobby is up right now. Like, it's crazy. I take a little step away from the hobby. I take a break. I spend time with my family. I come back and it's craziness. Everything is skyrocketing. Vintage, modern, stuff like this Van Gogh Pikachu, for example, right, guys? This was really big when it came out, and it's big again. These things are selling for $300 all day in PSA 10, right? There's 30,000 of this card in a PSA 10. Right? Nobody cares about high pops anymore. That used to be one of the biggest arguments kind of going for sealed investing versus singles. And I'm starting to feel like it doesn't matter anymore. Nobody seems to care about high populations. And it could just be all of the new collectors coming into this hobby that are unaware, or maybe people are just ignorant to the facts that high population numbers usually don't translate to high rarity and high value. But in this case, they're directly correlated. It doesn't even matter. You've got all-time high populations of a lot of these alt arts, cards like this Van Gogh Pikachu, cards like this. I've got this in my Phantom display. Sometimes these Phantom displays can be really great just for storing your raw cards, so you don't have to feel guilty about not getting them graded or worrying, hey, if I get a 9, this was a waste of money, but if I get a 10, it'll be great. But we just don't know that. So for some cards, until I get the time to grade a lot of these, I store them in these Phantom displays. And honestly, in a top loader, it actually looks pretty awesome in the Phantom display. But anyways, this Lugia, for example, right? tons of them out there. Was never a massive chase card like the Moonbryon from Evolving Skies. Yet even cards like that now are getting upwards of $400-$500. Guys, these cards aren't but a couple years old. There's a ton of them out there. All that being said, I do think it's better to buy the singles because while boxes are always going to deplete, the pull rates are so bad that you are so much better off just investing into alt arts and singles and SIRs. Honestly, if I could go back, the amount of money that I spent on sealed product, I would 100%, and this was my original plan, but that changed because I was influenced by others. I listened to what other people said. I watched what other people were doing, and it kind of felt like, okay, sealed investing, this is the thing, this is the new norm. But I don't think that that is the case. I think that people are really gravitating towards wanting to collect these chase cards, these singles, because it doesn't even matter that there's more of them hitting the market every day. There's less sealed product every day and there's more singles every day. And yet the singles continue to rise in value. I don't quite understand it, but it's something that I want to point out to you guys, and I want to point out to people that maybe have never seen any of my content before and are not exactly sure what I'm talking about. Guys, I think that you are better off to buy your favorite cards and enjoy those. And in my case, it should have been the sooner the better. Now, I'm not just gonna jump in now and buy, the singles of SIRs and alt arts that I like. Even ones that have just come out that I really, really want, like the Latias from Surging Sparks. Instead, I'm going to watch the market. I'm going to wait and see what happens. I'm going to give it a couple of months probably before I really want to dive in and buy heavily into singles again. Because right now, what we're seeing is unprecedented. We are seeing every alt art in a PSA 10 right now, every good alt art in a PSA 10 right now, they are all fetching insane premiums, okay? The Evolutions collection boxes that, remember the back when, we had those Evolution premium collection boxes. I have a Vaporeon one right behind me back in here, but those Evolution collection boxes, those alt arts, right? Those were promos, guys. And those promos are fetching hundreds of dollars. It's insane the type of stuff that we are seeing. Back to the Van Gogh, back to this Van Gogh Pikachu. This was a promo. This was a free promo. I got 2 of these for free. Well, you had to spend $20 or whatever, $25 in your order to get one of these. Or was it 50? I'm not sure. But either way, guys, this was a free promo and there's over 30,000 of them in PSA 10 and it's still eclipsing $300 and going back up. And I think everything is going to keep on moving up if people are going to continue to operate this way, right? There are so many new people coming into this hobby every day and it's at a peak right now. Will that last forever? I don't know, because I remember a time when the hobby felt dead and I bought this Crystal Charizard and people were like, you are insane for buying that card. We don't know where this hobby is going. We don't know if things are going to retrace in a big way, and vintage has got to come down in a big way. I spent $10,000 on this Crystal Skyridge Secret Rare Charizard, right? And that's another thing, guys. I may be basic and I may love Charizards, but Charizard has time and time again, these cards are outperforming everything, guys. I think there's nothing wrong with being a Charizard fanboy, particularly right now. If you're not going to buy a first edition Shadowless Charizard, buy a Shadowless Charizard. Buy an Unlimited Charizard. But I think no matter what, Charizard is always going to be a staple, and it shows, it proves. We've had all-time highs for the first edition Charizard. We've had all-time high sales for the Skyridge Charizard. We just had all-time peak sales for the Gold Star Charizard, not even in a PSA 10, which is like 20 grand or more. This is a PSA 9. I bought this card for $4,200 like 2-3 months ago, something like that. Just sold for $7,000. That's an 100% return on that almost. It's insane, guys. Or we'll call it a 75% return. Either way, buying a lot of these vintage Grail cards has worked out beautifully for me, but I don't give a crap about investing in it. I wanted these cards badly in my collection. I wanted them for having some of the most premium cards out there in existence, and I have them in this room right now, and that's an incredible goal that I've almost accomplished, and I have no regrets on that. But it's not to say that this was the way to go, right? Modern is doing the exact same thing. Everything is just doing 100, 200% returns. It's insane. Are we seeing that in the sealed booster box market though? No. And are we seeing it in the same time frame? No. We are seeing these insane sales numbers and this awesome market. We're seeing it with these SIRs and these alt arts. They're just going crazy. Another thing I want to point out about Surging Sparks is that the Pikachu and the Latias, right? The Pikachu has come down in a big way. People thought that Pikachu was going to hold around $2,000 or $3,000. No, that Pikachu is coming to $1,000 soon. That Pikachu may even hit $700 or $800 soon. I don't think it's that great. I think it is an afterthought compared to the Latias. I keep saying this. I don't even own the Latias. I have no reason to pump the Latias. I am giving you guys my unfiltered opinion that the Latias is one of the best cards in all of Scarlet and Violet. Aside from, you guys know, I'm a simp for Charizard. I have several of these. I'm excited to get those eventually graded. But there's so much awesome stuff going on in the hobby, and it just doesn't make sense to be buying sealed product, sitting on it, or even opening it. All of it is a gamble, and buying it and sitting on it as an investment is fantastic. That's great. Everyone has their own prerogative, right? But for me, I wish that I had not just the money back, right? I don't wish that I had the money back from all of the sealed products that I bought into. It's just not something that I can enjoy, right? I want to look at it. I'm in here looking at my cards, enjoying them, and I go into the garage and I'm just like, great, there's all the sealed products stacked up, but it just doesn't do anything for me. And maybe it does turn out to be a really good investment long term, but that's not to say that if I would have bought PSA 10 alt arts and SIRs this entire time and just kept racking up singles, like just buying them like crazy, I would be doing very, very well right now. And I would easily be able to auction off those cards and make premiums, ship them cheaply, store them easily. I can't do any of that with sealed products, so it angers me. It's very frustrating. And yeah, if you have a ton of space and if you just get it right the first time around and you buy the best set that comes out, like Surging Sparks or Prismatic, which Prismatic is, of course, that's already being inflated, right? I think with Surging Sparks, we didn't know how the set was going to perform. There were a lot of other cards that, in my opinion, aren't that great in Surging Sparks. And I don't bring up the Milotic a lot, but the Milotic is phenomenal. It is a phenomenal card. I just think the Latias is what this set is all about. And so I would urge you guys to buy that Latias and avoid buying booster boxes and trying to open up sealed product. Another thing that weighs on me heavily that I usually don't talk about, but you guys have heard me complain and whine about all of the garbage, all of the waste that there is in this hobby, and the fact that it's really not being recycled. It is going to a landfill somewhere. So one thing that I just feel like I should not condone, even though I know people are gonna be like, oh, okay, Ryan, this is a little bit much even for you. And that's okay, guys. We can be opinionated, we can agree to disagree, but it's bad for the planet, right? This hobby it's bad for the planet, right? We're opening so much product, and a lot of it is not biodegradable. I'm gonna leave it at that, and I'm gonna add that when we buy our singles online, someone has already done that work. Someone has already opened up all that product. Somebody's already created the trash. Somebody's already decided that they don't really care about a card and they just want the money now. Somebody has already done all those things for us, and we're able to recycle that now back to somebody that really appreciates it, which I really do feel like this is a really good message to put out there, that if you are buying your singles, you are helping to not contribute to more of that waste out there, right? But you guys can give me your opinion on that. I just think that's another point of being maybe more eco-friendly and just keeping that in mind, right? There's so much plastic in this hobby. We have all these protectors, right? It's hypocritical, right? I'm buying this stuff. It's made out of plastic. It's all bad for the planet. But for the most part, guys, my main point in this video is just to talk about the fact that I wish I had taken a different approach, and I wish not necessarily that I'd graded every card, right? I'm no grading guru. I actually had a complete fail on one of my biggest cards that I set for grading, which was a Nidoking, which I ended up replacing buying a PSA 10, which just reminds me that, Ryan, you're great at looking for stuff, which I think I'm going to make another video telling you guys how I actually look for cards. That was a really great comment somebody left that would make a great video topic of just like my methodology, and how I go about finding the cards that I want most, and how I use search terms, and how I look at sold listings, and how I look at sellers and kind of gauge, do I want to buy from the seller, low feedback versus high feedback, big name sellers. How do I feel about that? Anyway, we'll talk about that another time. But yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm much better at actually finding the cards that I think are going to do well long term than I am someone that can source them, have time to buy out collections. I've got another kid now, so we've got 4 people in the family now. I have even less time to do things that I like. So one thing that I think, especially for those of you that do, are around my age, have families, work full time, you might find that it's taxing trying to, beat the system, get cards graded, make huge returns. You can just as easily make amazing returns, and there's opportunity in just buying the cards that are already graded 10s, right? There's a good bit of risk there, right? Because everything is booming right now. But I'm saying when things calm down a little bit, if they calm down a little bit, one strategy that I think would help anybody coming into this hobby right now is buy the cards that you love, buy them in PSA 10, so you don't have to worry about, the condition or the quality of the cards, or, oh, I bought a 9, but I don't like it and I'm gonna swap it out. Guys, you guys know I collect a lot of, like, for vintage cards, they're expensive, so I collect a lot of 9s. But that does not mean for modern that I want to do the same thing. If that's what's in your budget, fine. But if you're really OCD and you're picky, just go ahead and buy the 10s. The chances are that they're going to continue to rise in value, because this is what we're seeing. We haven't seen this type of price movement yet. This is all new to the hobby, right? We've seen some bubbles burst. We've seen some stuff get hyped up and then fall down. But right now we are seeing the history is proving itself right now. We're seeing time and time again that these cards are rising in value, and it's just, I can't argue it anymore. It is time to seriously consider buying singles. And honestly, if you enjoy looking at the cards and really appreciate the artwork, singles are the way to go. Anyways, guys, long rant. I've thought a lot about it, and it just makes sense. Buying these cards, even though they have really, really high populations and there's tons of them out there, people really love them. They're really popular, and that is why they continue to rise in value. As long as the popularity is there, as long as this hobby is trending and more people are coming into it, these cards will continue to be a great holding value, source of holding value. Anyways, guys, can't remember what else I was going to talk about, but anyways, let me know what you think. Let me know if you are still considering buying into sealed products, or if you are buying singles. Are you buying them raw? Are you trying to grade? Are you going after just buying 10s? Are you buying in this market right now, or are you watching this market right now? Because I feel like a lot of people that are buying heavily in this market right now, I feel like a lot of them are just coming into the hobby and they don't quite understand how all of this works. And so maybe there's a misunderstanding that like all of this stuff is going to go to the moon. And so we might see a huge retrace on modern alt arts right now. But as far as I'm concerned, if I had a briefcase, right? If I had I do have a briefcase full of graded cards that has nearly doubled in value. But if this was a modern briefcase full of cards, it would have also nearly doubled in value. So people are winning either way in this hobby. And it's incredible to see. It's really incredible to see. And I'm excited for the future. Anyways, peace, guys. I hope you enjoyed this rant. Not sure if all of it made sense. Anyways, I appreciate you guys and all your support.